design thinking, UX design, service design, whatever you want to call it. The minute I say design, people think art and creativity. Design actually increases revenue, increases valuation, reduces cost, reduces time. There's data around it.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rahil Bhatt. You're watching Unboxing Success. My co-host today is
Faria Sayed.
and our guest today is
Hassan Habib, I'm the CEO and head of design at Designist.
all right, Zabardast. So Hassan, thank you for coming in. सबसे पहले we like के the guest introduces themselves in the sense के अपनी career के बारे में, अपनी थोड़ी journey के बारे में बताओ कि how did you
Yeah.
end up owning this company Designers. उससे पहले क्या हुआ?
Tell us about getting rejected from design school.
Okay, maybe from if I go a little before that, if I go back to high school, I enjoyed doing art a lot. It's probably my favorite subject. And then I had when we were applying for university, I actually didn't end up doing my A2. So I applied, and I didn't tell you that
No,
earlier.
you didn't.
So I actually haven't even finished my high school.
Okay.
And I applied.
There's hope for us all.
Yeah, there's hope for everyone. I mean, there's no single path to anything you do. So
I think this about standard education is a myth, right?
totally. And what happened was that I applied to every university, almost every university in Canada that I wanted to go to for like economics and business. But I really, really wanted to go to design school, which was Ontario College of Art and Design. And I got into every university I applied to.
But this.
But the design school. And they say that, for kids, they're like, अगर business school नहीं होता है या doctor नहीं बनते हो या engineer नहीं बनते हो तो फिर आप art कर लो. For me, it was the opposite. Like, I wanted to do art and I got into everything else. So I got rejected from OCAD the first time. And I ended up going to University of Toronto because I come from a Sethia family. And I said, okay, मैं economics पढ़ के Sethi बन जाऊँ. And it just didn't feel right for me. I did economics for 1 year and I was like, I'm going to apply again to design school. And I got rejected again. But the second time they called me in for an interview because I was in Canada at the time. And they said, your fine arts is great. And they asked me, what is design? And I couldn't answer that question. I was like, yeah, design is making things on Photoshop and making things look pretty. And they were like, no, design is a lot more than that. And then I asked them, what is design then? And they said, maybe you should apply for a foundation in another design school and then come back and apply for the third time. So I was determined and I ended up going to a foundation in art and design. But this time I moved to Vancouver. I went to the Vancouver Film School and I did a foundation in art and design. And I stumbled upon classical animation. And for some reason, I fell in love with classical animation. I ended up doing that for a year and I forgot about OCAD at this point. I was like, "Phir dekha jayega." And then I did digital design after that because in classical animation, it was very much about drawing cartoons for storytelling. But what I really wanted to do was, MTV mein jo ads aate the, I wanted to do like animation for motion graphics.
Okay. I remember you told me that your favorite film was Jungle Book.
Yeah, I really like Jungle
Yeah,
Book.
is that what drew you towards animation?
No, it was just MTV ads. Like really cool MTV ads where things morphed. And so I ended up, I finished digital design and I ended up working in Canada for 2 years. And the thing for me was when I got rejected from design school, it was very much that I don't want any Pakistani to be in the same position as me. So I was like, I'm going to figure out everything about design and then move back home and then start teaching it. And that's what was really important for me to actually go to design school. And what I learned along the way was at the Vancouver Film School was that you had to be a practitioner in order to teach. And I found that really important. But when I finished my education, I worked 2 years and I was ready to go back to Pakistan, lekin haath mein degree nahi tha. And because I didn't have a degree, I thought that, people in Pakistan won't take you seriously because that kagaz is very important. So I learned that you can actually do a master's degree without a bachelor's if you have enough work experience and some kind of education. So I got into this school called Hyper Island. It's a Swedish school, but it was based out of the UK, the masters. So I did my first master's in digital media management, and that's where I discovered, design thinking, service design,
So what is design thinking for us newbies?
I mean, design thinking is really understanding human needs and human behavior and identifying challenges that people face with anything, and then finding creative ways to solve for those problems, and having technology kind of built for it and having a business model around it. So, I mean, that's maybe I said a lot of jargon, but in the most simplest terms, it's creative problem solving. So, I finished my master's and then I moved back to Pakistan trying to, practice human centered design, design thinking, UX design, service design, whatever you want to call it. And what happened was that nobody understood what I was doing. And this is about 10 years ago. So I got sucked into advertising, and I was like creative director at some agencies, head of design at other agencies, and we were trying to sell UX design as a value added service. And
Please explain UX design for people.
UX, I mean, it's designing the experience that people have with digital products. A lot to do with app design or web design, as most people call it, but a lot more than that. And what ended up happening was that we were working at this agency, and there's one client who finally understood what I did. And somehow my bosses at that agency didn't get what I did. And I was frustrated and I was going to quit anyways. So when I went to that person for advice, and I don't remember the advice he gave me, but he said, I'll give you a 3-month retainer. And that's how Designers, my company, started. And the main goal, again, from what I learned from all my education, be it my master's or the film school, was that you have to be a practitioner to teach. Now, when I did my master's, I could have come back and started teaching anyways, but I felt that I would have just been teaching theory. And I didn't want to teach just theory without practical knowledge, so it was essential for me to practice. And that was one of the core reasons for starting the company. So you can practice and then teach.
तो प्रेशर नहीं था when you came back कि यार बस अब ठीक है, शौक पूरा कर लिया, अब आ जाओ बिजनेस के अंदर वापस? Did you have that,
I'm very lucky. My parents have been very, very supportive of everything that I've done. So I think when I decided to move away from economics in 2007, from then they said, okay, he's gonna
हाथ से निकल गया,
find his own way. But I still remember, like, the day I started my company, I would get a little bit of pocket money from my dad before that, and all kharchi was finished from that day.
Okay.
Oh,
He said, okay, you start your company, now you're on your own. So it was an interesting experience.
So how long before you were profitable?
I think before we were profitable, it took about 2 to 3 years to become profitable.
इसमें बताओ कि एज अ बिजनेस, बिकॉज आई एम ऑलवेज इंटरेस्टेड कि भाई हर बिजनेस की एक डायनामिक्स होती हैं. ऑब्वियसली मे बी हमारा बिजनेस थोड़ा सा सिमिलर, मे बी द क्लाइंटेल इज सिमिलर, बट देन अगेन एज अ बिजनेस आप यू वर अब्रॉड, वहाँ पे यू वर्क फॉर समबडी एंड a company, and then you saw that, and जब यहाँ आए तो कितना बड़ा कल्चरल शॉक था, एंड कितना मुश्किल था टू बिल्ड. लाइक 1-2 क्लाइंट तो चलो मिल जाता है इंसान को, मगर टू बिल्ड अ बिजनेस जहाँ पे आप सैलरीज दे रहे हैं लोगों को, जहाँ पे यू वांट टू रन अ बिजनेस लाइक यू वांट टू, तो वो कितना डिफिकल्ट था, एंड what did you go through, what were the struggles
in running a business? I think, when it comes down to the way clients think, I think every part in the world you have similar clients. So it's not like the clients are very much different over there than over here. The needs are very similar. I think the challenges that we faced initially was trying to, and we still face till today, is really explaining to people what our value proposition is, like how design can actually solve for their business. Because you need to look at design as an investment for an outcome that you're hoping to get for your own company. Whereas a lot of people just think of design as something that make it look pretty for me or make it just work. So they're coming and asking you, yaar, aap itne website ke pages ke liye kitne charge karenge? And it's like, can you at least tell me what is it that you're trying to achieve from building this website? So I think that is one of the challenges that we faced in communication and client onboarding. Sales has been a huge challenge, especially last year. Like, I don't know how to do sales. I've never done sales. And I don't know, alhamdulillah, like business has just come to us. And I think it's because we have a niche. I mean, there are a lot of, you could say like, there are a lot of designers out there, right? Graphic designers, there are a lot of software houses that can build websites and apps for you. I think
5,000 में लोग बोलते हैं बना देंगे 5,000 3,000 रुपए में वेबसाइट बना रहे हैं
you know, exactly.
और लोगों बना देंगे 200 रुपए में
exactly. But the thing is that I think our niche is that everything we do is based on research. So we actually do design research before we do anything. So if somebody wants to work with us, they already know that, okay, if we go to Designist, this is what we're going to get. And some people hire us just to do research. And they're like, okay, we'll take the research and create our own solutions based on that. But that's what our niche is. And for that reason, people just, when I think it's also with the economy, when the economy is better, people naturally come to us because I would say working with us is a luxury for a lot of companies.
But then you get a very niche clientele also, people who appreciate what you do, who appreciate good design, who appreciate the functionality of good design as well.
Yes.
Do you think there are
as much as we can, like most of them, yes, but
जैसे वो ये ना कि अब रिसर्च का वर्ड जो है ना बहुत सारे लोगों लगता है अरे रिसर्च की क्या जरूरत है बस मतलब वही बात है यही तो करना है इसके लिए तुम 3 महीने रिसर्च करोगे 2 महीने की रिसर्च टाइम ये तो टाइम ज़ाया हो जाएगा हमारे यार किसी को बुलाओ जो कि भाई परसों बना के दे दे मुझे वाली
exactly.
So I think the most difficult part is to make them understand कि भाई ये कितना ज़रूरी है and इसका आउटकम क्या होगा. So एक और चीज़ जो बहुत और बिजनेसेस में भी फॉर इंस्टेंस सोशल मीडिया स्पेशल बिजनेसेस में भी यही होता है कि वो ये कि लोग कहते हैं सब कहते हैं हम ये कर देंगे आपके लिए बट दे फेल टू शो द आउटकम या उसका बेनिफिट क्या होगा लाइक नंबर्स नहीं बता सकते स्पेशली डिज़ाइन में भी ऐसा है कि यू कांट रियली शो एनीबडी कि इसके नंबर्स क्या होंगे बट व्हेन यू डू रिसर्च डज दैट हेल्प कैन यू शो देम कि यार इसका आउटकम या इसका एंड गोल में अप टू दिस आपको फायदा हो सकता है हाउ डू यू
I mean,
look at the
setting metrics. Look, it's very difficult to say exactly what the end result or number is going to be, but it's important to start that as a conversation starter to begin with. So by doing this work, what are you hoping to get? So for instance, we worked with a bank on digital account opening, and their conversion rate is right now 1 in 4 people are actually able to open an account digitally. So what we're saying is we're hoping to increase that number, right? That's the metric, like how many people can successfully complete it. We can't put an exact number to it, but through the research, we're saying, okay, these are the areas where the fall off is happening or where the biggest challenge is. And once you incorporate these interventions, and hopefully your conversion rate will go higher. So when there's a before and after, will help us understand. So we did a project with HBL and they were working on channel migration, meaning that they wanted people to leave the branch because they had all these digital channels. And after some interventions that we did, I believe there was a year-on-year 2 million customers started moving from
physical to
digital. So you always set the kind of goal beforehand, but it's very difficult to say this is exactly the number that's going to happen.
So Designist is a firm that does a lot of things, multiple cheeses. I got to know you, and then what I understood from what you did was because I visited your office, so I saw a lot of branding, a lot of artwork. That was my understanding. But then I got to, we got talking, and then you told me so many things that you do. So, what services are that Designist offers?
Essentially, what the base of what we do is design research. So be it branding, be it creating an app, be it creating a service, the base of what we do is design research. So a lot of ethnography, understanding human needs. And then once we understand that, the services can be branding, so creating an identity for a company. It can be UI UX design, which is the designing of digital interfaces, apps, websites, ATM screens, anything that somebody's interacting with. And the third is service design, which is understanding all touch points that a customer has with a product or service, and also internal customers' experience, so the overall experience of a company. And now slowly we're pivoting into organization design. So we're also now helping other companies build their own design teams.
Okay.
So we're doing a little bit of of consulting on that side and also training to help upskill people.
So you're hiring for them, or is it like an outsource model? Kya hai wo?
So we just started. We just have one client right now, but what we're doing is we're consulting for them. So we're also solving, say, we're building an app for them. But while we're building the app, we're helping identify and hire talent, train that talent, and then create the entire process of design specific to that organization.
And that talent is housed आपके पास या in the company?
With the company.
अच्छा, with the company.
So we're hiring for them.
Oh, okay.
So right now we're, you could say, an interim design team for them because they don't have a mature design team. But we're going to, it's a journey. So we'll help them get to a position where they won't need us. So we're disrupting ourselves in many ways.
Is that a good idea? But then again, I mean, you're helping them, and obviously this is a business that multiple people need. और सबसे बड़ा मसला है तो, you know, as a business, I understand कि recruitment करना, recruiting the right people, whether it's whatever, जो भी जिस भी area में आपको करना हो, and design तो बहुत ही difficult है because इतनी ज़्यादा options भी नहीं है आपके पास. And companies mostly, बहुत सा finance समझ में आता है बहुत सारे लोगों को, you know, आपको sales समझ में आती है, but design को समझना, understand करना, वो ये कि आप दो लोग हायर कर लेते हो, इंटर्न हायर कर लेते हो, कोई थोड़ा सा सीनियर लेवल का, बट हाउ टू उनको चलाना कैसे है, एंड व्हाट इन्फॉर्मेशन डू यू नीड टू गिव देम. तो ये एक बड़ा एक डिफिकल्ट प्रोसेस होता है कि बहुत सारी कंपनीज में, आई रिमेंबर एट वन पॉइंट आई हैड लाइक 2-3 पीपल एंड तंग था मैं उनसे. मैं कहा यार कुछ नहीं करते, बस जो बोलो वो कर देते हैं, बट दे हैड नो पाथ टू गो टू कि भाई करना क्या चाहते हैं हम. वी कुडंट इवन एक्सप्लेन इट टू देम. सो आई मीन इट्स रियली इंपॉर्टेंट टू हैव समबडी कंसल्टिंग यू ऑन इट कि यार like to ask us कि पहले हम चाहते क्या हैं, and then how to pave that way, and what is the process of going to give us an example of a process that you built of any of the services that you did, कि किस तरह से वो process build होता है.
So I think one of the projects that I'm most proud of, and essentially again it comes down to understanding human needs. So there's a Pakistan Sign Language, and they got this grant, I believe. Maybe it was from Google, and they had to put the entire sign language on a Raspberry Pi and then distribute this nationwide. And so the base of what we need to do is understand how is sign language being taught in the classrooms, and what is the role that the sign language is playing in households and in schools. So when it comes to research, we went and visited these schools to understand how is it being taught in the classrooms? What are the challenges that the teachers are facing? What are the challenges that the students are facing? And then after identifying all these needs, then we said, okay, this digital platform needs to be this way before. Versus saying, okay, most people would just jump in directly into the digital platform saying, okay, this is how we'll design it. But when you're basing it off needs, then the chances of that product succeeding is a lot higher. So then we designed it, and then they put it on the Raspberry Pi and distributed it nationwide. And it also got like 2 awards, one Pashaka Award Mila, and then one Wise Award from another country. But for me, it was not about, okay, winning these awards or making this really great design. What was important that we take for granted, and what we're doing right now, is communication. And there's so many people around Pakistan that cannot communicate because they're deaf or hearing impaired. So what we essentially enabled to happen was communication.
And especially for Pakistani Sign Language, as far as I know, there's not one unified Pakistani Sign Language. That was one of the struggles that I knew some people were having, was that if you go to one part of Pakistan, to kuch aur sign language ke matlab gestures hain, kuch aur language ke gestures hain in different parts of Pakistan. So is that the struggle that you had to overcome? How did you figure that out?
So the interesting thing is that when I started doing this project, I thought that sign language was universal around the world. So when I realized that there's a specific Pakistan sign language, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Yes, so there are a lot of signs for different places. I don't think that was a struggle for us because we didn't necessarily go in with the lens of learning sign language, but what we were trying to understand, one of the insights that I'll share with you is what the product was also based on was that the sign language is constantly being updated, right? I think at that time they had maybe between 6,000 to 9,000 words, and there was no way for schools or students to request words. So by designing this platform, it also allowed for teachers or anybody else to request a word. So there wasn't a word for something, then they can request it. Yeah, so that was one of the intents. I mean, if you go to psl.org.pk,
Okay.
You can see all the signs that are
And
available.
how many people have accessed it? How many people have you helped?
So from the Pakistan Sign Language Raspberry Pi, there were, I believe, more than 60,000 people who benefited from it nationwide.
And continue to do it, I'm
Yeah.
sure. पढ़ाई तो बहुत कर ली थी,
Yeah,
अब
yeah.
पढ़ाने के experiences कैसे थे?
I think it's one of the most fulfilling experiences that anybody can have. And it's because when you teach somebody something and then you can actually see them apply it and bring it to life, you're just like, wow, I enabled that to happen. And that's really, really something.
आई थिंक मुझे ये भी लगता है कभी कभार हम हम पढ़ते हैं कोई चीज़ और हम कर रहे होते हैं कोई चीज़, बट व्हेन वी स्टार्ट टीचिंग इट आई थिंक वी लर्न 2-3 डिफरेंट डायमेंशंस ऑफ व्हाट वी वर डूइंग जब हम सिखा रहे होते हैं, बिकॉज नाउ वी नीड टू लुक एट इट फ्रॉम 5 डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव्स कि ये आदमी कैसे समझेगा, ये कैसे समझेगा, एंड देन वी गेट अ डिफरेंट अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ इट एज वेल. तो वो भी एक बड़ा मज़े का एक्सपीरियंस होता है व्हेन यू टीचिंग. तो यू गेट एक्साइटेड कि ओ यार, I'm going to teach this to somebody and I also get to learn maybe another dimension.
100%. Like you learn because when you go to teach, you have to prepare. So you're learning already before you're teaching. And then you learn so much because of the questions that the students are asking you. And I think the one thing that really helps people really stick around, and because a lot of my courses they have to take it. It's not like an elective. And what really gets them charged to learn it is I always start at, hey, this is the amount of money that you can be making. And when the conversation becomes about money, they're like, okay, I think I should focus or give this time because I can make X amount.
How much money can I be making?
You can make a decent amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk numbers, like say in Pakistan, if you graduate from say IVS or Habib University, your starting salary can be anywhere between 75,000 to 150,000 starting salary, which if you're starting in accounting or something is a lot lower than that. And as you're working your way up 2-3 years, you can double, triple your salary. And the entire world is also open to you. So freelancing, you can make easily up to $1,000 or $2,000 a month.
प्लेटफॉर्म्स के बारे में बताओ. ये प्लेटफॉर्म्स आजकल फाइवर है एंड मल्टीपल अदर Behance है एंड सो मेनी अदर प्लेटफॉर्म्स. उसके अंदर इनिशियली बहुत डिफिकल्ट था टू बिकॉज यू weren't श्योर के, बिकॉज बहुत सारे लोगों ने बहुत कुछ लगाया था अपने पोर्टफोलियोज पे, बट व्हेन यू गिव देम वर्क व्हाट यू गेट इज लाइक यार ये क्या हमें मिल रहा है. So how are you on that profile? Do you use any of these platforms as a company? Is there a platform that you can use?
No. So for us, we're not that kind of company, right? I know a lot of software houses and agencies in Pakistan who have these known as bidders. So their entire business model is around pitching on Upwork and these freelance websites, which is really good. But then the work, again, as I said, is very output driven. Make me a logo for $100 or make me a website for $1,000, and then they're playing on volume. So they've commoditized it. So they're viewing design as a commodity, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's an entire target segment that's built around that. So we don't operate in that space. We're very much in the outcome-driven space where, hey, let me help you solve for this. And to answer your second part about designers and understanding them, one is their portfolios. And if it's a very flashy portfolio, you always call them in, you do an interview. I'm not in favor for tests. I know a lot of agencies वो test कराते हैं. And
दरख्त बना के दिखाएं जो अभी लास्ट देखा था.
like there are ways to gauge people through an interview process on how they actually think and behave. I'm not for tests, but you can, if you're good at what you do, you can easily see if somebody's bullshitting you. And then we also have internship programs set up in the summer. So a lot of our hires are people who have previously worked with us in some capacity. So that helps us understand good talent.
अच्छा, क्योंकि डिज़ाइनर्स की जो फील्ड होती है जनरली से आई ऑल्सो हैव, सो देयर इज अ सेगमेंट जो फॉर इंस्टेंस अकाउंट्स कर रहा है या जो प्रोजेक्ट्स पे काम कर रहा है, उनकी परफॉर्मेंस को जज करना कहीं ना कहीं मुझे आसान लगता है. बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू डिज़ाइन, तो जैसे फॉर इंस्टेंस होता है, अब मैंने किसी से पूछा यार मैं किस तरह जज करूँ इसकी परफॉर्मेंस को, मैं अप्रेजल्स देने, तो कहते हैं कि कितने प्रोजेक्ट्स कर लेते हैं वो इस पे जज को। मैं कहा नहीं, कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स तो ऐसे होते हैं कि 2 महीने आपने काम किया एंड देन यू स्क्रैच देम योरसेल्फ कि यार नहीं ये मज़ा नहीं आ रहा, लेट्स मूव ऑन टू देम। तो हाउ डू लाइक व्हेन यू हायर पीपल, ऑब्वियसली पीपल वर्क फॉर यू, तो उनको किस हाउ डू यू मैनेज देम, हाउ डू यू कीप देम हैप्पी, हाउ डू यू कीप योरसेल्फ हैप्पी, एंड एंड उनकी अगर अप्रेजल्स हैं किस तरह से डील करते हो इन चीज़ों से एज अ बिजनेस?
I'll break it down two things. One, you said happiness. One, you talk about appraisals. So when it
Are
comes,
they mutually exclusive?
yes, they are. They're very two different things. Okay, when it comes to being happy, one of the things that I really focus on is trying to design the culture that we want to work in. So as team members, we're co-designing the way we want to work. So there's certain, I wouldn't say policies, but they're just understandings and ways of working at designers. So there's no clock in, clock out system. There's no कि आप 15 मिनट लेट हो गए तो आपका एक छुट्टी लग गया. There's nothing like that. So it's like people come in and we have a kind of understanding like 9 to 6 is kind of when the office is open. But we're not saying you need to work 8 hours or 9 hours a day. We're saying you're working to get the work done. And if you get the work done early, go home early. You don't need to sit here to show me your face. And if you need to put in the extra time, you can do that. It's a very open culture, allowing people to be transparent about how they feel. And then we're here to support each other in the growth. So, and post 6 p.m. it's very rare that we will sit post 6 p.m. It's not like your standard agency life where people are just grinding.
12-1 बजे
And I've heard like scary stories. The agent 6 बजे client का call आ रहा है कि यार आप मुझे post निकाल के दो, and and then the boss is telling this designer to sit. That guy is not gonna be happy. So we really manage our projects in a way where there is a work-life balance. And I think that's really important for the people who work in the company. The second thing when it comes to appraisal, right? Like, मैंने 2 project कर लिए या मैंने 5 साल काम कर लिया तो I should be worth this much amount of money. We've created a system that allows you to gauge how good a designer is. So this is known as like a growth framework. So we've created level 1, 2, 3 for different skill sets. And then on a quarterly basis, I will sit individually with each designer to say, okay, where do you sit on this scale? And then we create a growth plan for them in order to keep upskilling them. And that's how we do our appraisals. So if you hit the skill, this is what you deserve. You do it in 1 year, or you do it in 2 years, or you do it in 2 months, that's really up to you and the effort that you're putting in to get to where you need to be.
I mean, obviously you're working with creatives. You've given them certain leeway, understanding, to be a creative, you need to have that room. But overall, in the country, in society, how do you feel about the culture of creativity? How do we nurture it? How do we give people an appreciation for creativity, for art, for design, especially in the digital space, which people think is just purely functional? कि जाओ बटन दबाओ ATM से पैसे निकालो, which it could be something that is experiential. Everything is an experience, as you very rightly pointed out. How do we nurture that?
I think the way to nurture that is to change the perception of design itself. Even if you use the word design, the minute I say design, people think art and creativity, right? And they think of it as a commodity. So, and I gave a talk recently at UX Pakistan, and it's about how do you disguise design and put it into business functions. And the more the entrepreneurs, the business people start viewing design as a way that will help them achieve the goals that they're trying to achieve, that's how the narrative will change. And till that narrative doesn't change, people will constantly just look at design as something that's an afterthought or make it look pretty. And I think to nurture it is like entrepreneurs need to reach a certain maturity mindset. And doing these kind of conversations, having more conversations around this topic where you have SIRTs listening, hopefully, or senior management looking at it. And there's a lot of data around it. There's a lot of data around how design actually increases revenue, increases valuation, reduces costs, reduces time. There's data around it. And they need to be curious to see how it's going to actually have an impact on their business. I mean, I had a project that I did, Abhi, and earned early, like you get access to your wages or your salary in advance. And when we made it first, and we put it into the hands of my the our T boy who works at my office, and it was meant to be designed for them. He didn't get it. It didn't work, and we put it in the hands of an insurance broker, and they're like, "This is amazing," but again, it didn't work. So we had to go back to the drawing board and say, "No, we need to make this so it can work for him, because they're our target market." And if you have to dumb it down, you have to make it look ugly. Like there's certain bank apps, and we look at Mizan Bank, and we worked with Mizan Bank. Hopefully, the new app is coming soon. But if you look at Mizan Bank's app right now, it's black and white and yellow and purple, and it looks hideous. I think anybody who looks at it can agree to that. But it works. Your transactions, it's the fastest running app today. It has a 4.9 rating on the App Store. Why?
Becomes a question of aesthetics versus intuitiveness.
Aesthetics is subjective, right?
Yeah.
But aesthetics do play a role definitely in design too. It's like when something looks good, you'll automatically trust it more. So aesthetics are important, but they're not everything. I have to draw this guy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Well, I've never done this. Like sometimes, I find it very difficult to actually draw people that I know.
Okay. Why is that?
I don't know, man. Something. There's certain art just doesn't make sense to me, right? Like you put shit on a wall and call it art, or you put a urinal on display and you call it art, or you have some guy doing some random dance, and like I understand them calling it art, but like, is it really art? But then it's subjective, right? Like for somebody would judge me and say, "What the hell is this guy saying?" The guy was expressing himself, and I'm like, shit.
But exactly मेरा भी यही पॉइंट था कि भाई सी के सब्जेक्टिव है बट एवरीबडी हम जज कर सकते हैं यार आई मीन आई कैन जज an art piece and say कि यार bullshit है
because it's subjective. That's the point of art, right? It's your relationship with that thing, and if it appeals to you, then it's good. If it doesn't appeal to you, you'll consider it bad, right?
Okay, now I'm curious.
See, because it's real.
Because it's real. Then he said it again.
Justified.
You summed up the whole argument. Okay then. Ta-da! Yes, I agree.
It's a nose.
Yeah, it's the nose.
Lovely. When we spoke, you said that it's a curse to be a designer in Pakistan.
Lastly,
so I just want to.
We ended on
you,
that note.
Yeah. Tell us why it's a curse.
Why is it a curse to be a designer? I think the reason why it's sometimes a curse to be a designer is because when you look at things and you see that things are broken or they're not working the way you expect them to work, you've become almost very critical of the entire world. So you're always in observation and you're always critiquing things. And that's why sometimes it could be a curse, because you're just like, okay, I just want to be and I want to just enjoy this. And sometimes that happens. And when that happens, it feels amazing because you're like, okay, this service or this experience has just been amazing. I've actually had the ability to switch off.
Yeah, but you do this anyway. And yet, like, you choose to be a designer despite.
I think once you've come onto the world of design,
it's hard to go back.
No going back. There's no going back.
Yeah. I remember
your brain is just rewired.
Yeah. Whenever I go to a restaurant, सबसे पहले, I look at the aesthetic. उसके बाद मैं टेबल के नीचे हाथ लगा and my wife's like, तुम क्या कर रहे हो? And I'm looking at the कुर्सी का frame and everything. मैंने कहा ये जगह अच्छी नहीं है, इसका फर्नीचर बहुत सस्ता बना हुआ है, let's just go. He's like, खाना है मुझे. मैंने कहा नहीं, मैं I cannot. But you have to switch it off कि नहीं कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है. So you're like whatever जो भी, I think anything that you're passionate about, and even if you're a filmmaker, designer, whatever. So you're judging the world all the time, one way or the other, or assessing it in a way जहाँ आपको गलतियाँ भी नजर आ रही हैं, and then it frustrates you because you can't fix them all the time. So I think you're right. I think anything that you're passionate about can be a curse for you. On that note, thank you once again, Hassan. बहुत अच्छा लगा. You took out time and came to us. We wish you the best of luck with all the endeavors that you're planning to do and are on right now. And thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This was the Black Box Unboxing Success. Take care.